All right, so, we've got some pretty interesting stuff for our deep dive today.
Definitely.
You sent over a really interesting collection of information about this
Uh-huh.
Muhata Fitness.
Right?
We've got YouTube videos, got excerpts from their website.
Yep.
We've even got a pretty detailed briefing document.
It is a very comprehensive set of materials.
Yeah.
And I think this will give us a really good opportunity to really dive deep into the core of what this Muhata Fitness approach is all about.
Exactly. Our goal today is to unpack all this information and provide you with a clear understanding of what Muhata Fitness is,
Right.
how it actually works, and kind of what the key principles and features are.
Yeah.
Think of this as your shortcut to getting up to speed on this whole new fitness concept.
Absolutely.
And hopefully we'll find some real aha moments for you
Yeah.
about, how you might integrate more movement into your daily life. Okay, so let's unpack this Muhata Fitness.
Let's do it.
It seems like the fundamental idea behind it.
Yeah.
Are these really short-timed Muhata workout breaks?
Uh-huh.
What is the core thinking behind that?
What's so fascinating about this is how directly it tackles this whole issue of sedentary behavior.
Yeah.
We're spending so much of our day sitting,
Right.
and this Muhata Fitness approach, the primary aim appears to be to counteract that with these frequent short bursts of activity. And this really aligns with a lot of the research out there that shows that breaking up sedentary time, even in these small bouts, can have significant positive impacts on metabolic health independent of overall exercise volume.
Okay.
The Muhata web app, which you can find at muhata.org, is really central to this.
Okay.
It features this customizable timer that defaults to 30 minutes.
Okay.
And it pops up with a notification when it's time for one of these breaks.
So it's this little reminder to get you moving.
It's like, hey.
And you mentioned it's customizable.
Yes.
So if 30 minutes doesn't quite fit with your workflow,
Yeah.
you can adjust that.
Precisely.
Okay.
And you don't even have to wait for the timer.
Right.
The app also provides an option to manually trigger a Muhata break whenever you feel like you need to get some movement in.
Okay. So you get the alert, you head over to the web app.
Yep.
What exactly does one of these Muhata workout breaks typically involve?
So the home kit is designed to be very user-friendly. The timer and a very prominent start button are right there when you log in.
Okay.
When it's time for your break, you receive a workout challenge presented in this really energetic, almost text message style, complete with exclamation points and emojis.
Energetic text messages.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
It definitely aims to be very engaging.
Gotcha.
And below that, there's this stats bar
Okay.
that displays the total number of Muhata users,
Okay.
the cumulative number of workouts completed across the entire platform,
Wow.
and the total amount of Muhata earned by all users.
Okay.
Then you have quick links to sections like My Data, Custom Log, Editor, Shop, benchmarks,
Got it.
as well as access to the leaderboard.
Okay, so that's kind of where you get the notification and you see kind of the overall activity.
Right.
But what about the actual exercises during a Muhata break?
So a typical Muhata break includes one primary exercise, which is mandatory,
Okay.
and then you have the option to add bonus exercises.
Okay.
What's interesting is that these bonus exercises come with Muhata multipliers, going up to by 2.0 if you really push yourself.
So you earn more for doing extra,
Exactly.
but the fundamental requirement is just that single primary exercise.
That's right.
Okay. And when you complete it, the button you click even has these fun labels like I did IT or mission accomplished.
Wow.
There's even a no button if you decide to skip the workout.
There it is.
That's tempting on some days.
I know, right?
But tell me more about how these workout challenges are generated.
Okay.
It sounds like there's some intelligence behind it.
Yes, that's where the tracker system comes into play.
Okay.
This is the underlying mechanism that drives these workout suggestions.
Okay.
It's designed to intelligently balance the demands placed on different muscle groups.
Okay.
And it even focuses on strengthening antagonistic muscles,
Okay.
so those that work in opposition to each other.
Can you give me an example?
Yeah, so like your biceps and triceps.
Okay.
One bends the arm, the other straightens it,
Got it.
or the muscles around the hips and shoulders. This intelligent balancing act actually reflects a more modern understanding of fitness, where we're moving away from isolated muscle training towards a more integrated and functional approach.
So it's kind of a more holistic way
Exactly.
of approaching these little micro workouts.
That's right.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. You wouldn't want to only work one set of muscles all the time.
Right.
Now, moving beyond these timed breaks, I noticed there was this thing called a custom log.
Yes.
What is the purpose of that?
So the custom log allows you to manually record any other forms of exercise or physical activity that you engage in outside of those scheduled Muhata breaks.
Okay.
This could be anything from a brisk walk or a cycling session
Okay.
to a full-blown strength training workout at the gym.
So it's a way to kind of get recognition
Uh,
for all your movement,
exactly.
not just the prompted one.
That's right.
Okay.
You can log an exercise by selecting the type from a list,
Okay.
entering the number of repetitions,
Right.
and even using a built-in stopwatch to time your sets.
Oh.
For activities like walking or running, you can record the intensity level,
Oh, okay.
whether it's high, medium, or low,
Gotcha.
and relevant details like duration, distance, covered steps taken.
Okay.
The system acknowledges all these manually logged activities,
Right.
and they even contribute to your position on the leaderboard.
Wow. So it gives you a more holistic view of your overall activity level.
Precisely.
Now, the briefing document also mentioned this editor.
Yes.
It sounds like that's where you can really personalize the Muhata experience.
You are right. The editor is where the customization truly comes to life.
Okay.
You can toggle specific exercises on or off
Okay.
to customize what might appear in your Muhata workout breaks.
Gotcha.
You also have the ability to adjust the target rep ranges for each exercise.
Right.
And these adjustments can even influence the Muhata multiplier you might receive.
Okay.
You can set a target amount of Muhata you aim to earn during each workout break. And perhaps most interestingly, you can customize something called the decay rate for different target areas.
Decay rate.
Yeah.
That still sounds a little technical.
Okay, so think of the decay rate as the system's memory
Okay.
for a particular muscle group.
Gotcha.
A lower decay rate means the system forgets sooner that you just worked, say, your legs,
Okay.
making it more likely to suggest a leg exercise again in the near future.
Gotcha.
Conversely, a higher decay rate means it will remember for a longer period
Right.
and offer more variety by targeting other muscle groups.
Interesting.
So if you want to focus more frequently on your core,
Yeah.
you would set a lower decay rate for that target area.
Gotcha.
There's also an option to personalize the music that plays during your workout breaks.
Wow. That's a pretty significant level of control.
Yeah.
So you can really fine-tune the entire experience
Uh-huh.
to align with your goals and preferences.
Precisely.
What about tracking your progress?
Yeah.
I saw my data or profile page.
All right.
mention-
This is where you can see a really comprehensive overview of your Muhata journey.
Okay.
It displays your username, and you can even choose customizable emojis to represent yourself.
Fun.
But the core information here is your rating.
Okay.
This is a dynamic metric, and they very explicitly draw a comparison to chess ratings.
A fitness rating based on a chess rating system?
Uh-huh.
How does that work?
All right.
I mean, that's an interesting analogy.
So the typical rating range is from 800 to 3,000,
Okay.
with new users starting at 800.
Okay.
A rating around 1,200 to 1,500 is considered average,
Okay.
and reaching 3,000 signifies a very high level of consistent engagement and performance within the Muhata system.
Gotcha.
They even suggest that there might be a theoretical upper limit somewhere between 3,200 and 3,600.
Wow.
Your rating increases when you earn Muhata, but
Yeah.
it also gradually decreases over time if you become inactive.
So it's kind of a use it or lose it.
Exactly.
It's not principle.
The impact of earning Muhata on your rating isn't linear.
Okay.
So for instance, earning 10 Muhata will have a much more significant positive effect on someone with an 800 rating compared to someone who's already at a 2,000 rating.
Right?
So this rating isn't just a number.
Okay.
It's designed to provide a nuanced picture of your fitness level relative to others
Right.
and to really incentivize consistent engagement.
Gotcha.
Much like the ELO system in chess reflects both skill and activity.
So it really encourages you to stay active
Yeah.
consistently.
Uh,
What else can you find on this My Data page?
so there's a streak feature that tracks the number of consecutive days you've been active within the Muhata system,
Okay.
although the sources indicate this is still in development.
Ah,
You also get access to graphs that visually represent your workout history
okay.
and how your rating has changed over different time periods.
Interesting.
And you can see a detailed log of all your completed workouts and logged activities,
Okay.
along with the amount of Muhata you earned for each.
So you can really see your progress
Uh-huh.
unfold visually.
That's right.
Now let's talk about the competitive aspect, this
Yeah.
leaderboard.
Okay.
How does that function?
So the leaderboard ranks users in a few different categories.
Okay.
One is based on the total amount of Muhata they've earned within the current day
Okay.
by their overall rating
Right.
and by their cumulative Muhata earned across all their time using Muhata.
Gotcha.
You have the ability to toggle between these different rankings
Okay.
to see where you stand in each category.
So it really plays into that competitive spirit that some people have.
Right. And it's interesting that Muhata caters to both mindsets.
Yeah.
Those who are really driven by competition
Right.
and those who might prefer to just focus solely on their own progress.
Exactly.
So you can kind of choose your own adventure in a way.
I can definitely see how that could be a strong motivator for some people.
Definitely.
What about the Muhata? Sounds like you can purchase things within the Muhata ecosystem.
Yeah, so within the Muhata shop, you use the Muhata you've earned
Mm.
through your workout breaks and logged activities
All right.
to unlock new exercise
Okay.
for both your editor and your custom log.
Okay.
When you first sign up as a new user, you start with a pretty foundational set of exercises,
Okay.
like squats and push-ups.
Right.
And the shop is where you can expand your options to include more specialized movements
Gotcha.
as you progress.
Okay.
Each exercise listed in the shop displays its base target.
Okay.
So the number of reps or duration needed to earn 1 MUATA
Got it.
and the specific target areas it primarily works.
So you earn this virtual currency by being active, and then you use that to gain access to more exercises and add more variety.
That's right.
That's a clever little system.
It is.
Now, the briefing document also mentioned benchmarks.
Yes.
What are those?
So benchmarks are specific measurable fitness challenges that you can choose to attempt.
Okay.
The current list includes exercises like testing your maximum number of consecutive push-ups,
Okay.
maximum pull-ups,
Right.
timing yourself completing 100 jumping jacks or a 100-yard bear crawl,
Right.
and various burpee challenges involving 25, 50, or 100 reps.
Wow.
They're also running benchmarks,
Okay.
like the 40-yard dash, the 100-meter dash, the 400-meter dash, and the mile run.
Wow. Those definitely sound like more formal tests of your fitness.
Yeah.
How do these benchmarks integrate with the overall system?
So when you submit your performance for a benchmark, it generates a rating
Okay.
that directly influences your overall Muhata rating.
Interesting.
Interestingly, they point out that submitting benchmark results too frequently won't really have a significant impact
Okay.
because the system takes into account the elapsed time between submissions.
Oh.
They suggest that ideally you would aim to submit a benchmark performance approximately once every 30 days
Okay.
to maximize its effect on your weighting.
Gotcha.
So it's not about constantly pushing yourself to the limit,
Right.
but more about periodically checking in on your progress over time.
So it's more about tracking your progress.
Yeah.
At these sort of reasonable intervals.
Exactly.
I have to ask, what's the story behind the fried chicken wings glossary?
The fried chicken wings.
Yeah.
This is this lighthearted glossary
Okay.
found within the Muhata platform that explains the various exercises.
Right.
Often using these unconventional and sometimes humorous names.
Okay.
So, for example, the fried chicken wings exercise itself
Mm-hmm.
is actually a band pull-apart,
Okay.
where you're stretching your arms out to the side using a resistance band.
Got it.
Squats are referred to as angry squats,
Angry squats.
and push-ups are labeled as push-ups.
Oh my God.
It seems to be a very deliberate part of their brand to inject some fun and make fitness feel a bit less intimidating and more approachable.
Yeah.
I have to admit, angry squats is pretty memorable.
Angry squats. I love it.
It definitely adds a unique touch of personality
Yeah.
to the whole experience.
All right. So let's focus in on some of these featured exercises.
Okay.
Burpees seem to be highlighted quite a bit.
The sources emphasize that burpees are this highly effective full body exercise,
Right.
offering significant cardiovascular benefits,
Mhm.
improving strength endurance, and enhancing agility.
Okay.
There's even this very memorable quote from one of the YouTube videos.
Okay.
If you see floating bananas on the ceiling, do burpees instead,
Floating bananas.
which is certainly a unique form of encouragement.
That's definitely a memorable way to think about motivation.
It is.
What about bear crawls?
So bear crawls are another exercise they frequently feature,
Okay.
emphasizing their benefits for improving overall mobility coordination and building fundamental core strengths.
Yeah.
And one of the best aspects is that they require absolutely no equipment, making them incredibly accessible.
Yeah.
The videos encourage you to unleash your inner bear and just start crawling wherever you happen to be.
So both burpees and bear crawls.
Yeah.
Incredibly efficient and require minimal to no equipment,
That's right.
perfectly aligning with this core philosophy
America.
of micro workouts.
That can fit into any schedule.
Yeah. You also mentioned band pull-aparts.
Yes, band pull-aparts are highlighted for their effectiveness in improving posture,
Okay.
Enhancing the stability and mobility of the shoulder joints
Right.
and strengthening those upper back muscles.
Gotcha.
They're also frequently recommended as a valuable warm-up exercise before engaging in other upper body workouts.
So these are all relatively quick
Mm-hmm.
and accessible exercises
Yep.
that could easily be incorporated into a short break
Yeah,
during the day.
that's right.
Now, we've talked about earning Muhata.
Uh-huh.
Let's define that metric
Okay.
more precisely.
Muhata is the virtual currency that exists within the Muhata fitness ecosystem.
Okay.
You earn it by successfully completing those short Muhata workout breaks,
Right.
prompted by the app,
Yeah.
and by manually logging any other physical activities that you undertake.
Right.
As we've discussed this, Muhata can then be used within the shop to unlock a wider variety of exercises.
Right.
It's also crucial to remember that the impact of earning Muhata on your overall rating is nonlinear,
Okay.
meaning that users with lower ratings will experience a much more significant increase
Right.
for the same amount of Muhata earned compared to those with higher ratings.
So it really incentivizes those newcomers
Yeah.
to kind of get started, and it rewards those initial efforts.
Exactly. It's designed to encourage those who are just starting out
Right.
and provide a tangible sense of early progress.
It's a good system.
It is.
Now, finally, what about Muhata's presence beyond their web app?
Yeah.
Do they have a social media presence?
They do indeed. They maintain active profiles across a range of social media platforms,
Okay.
including YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, Pinterest,
Wow.
and even LinkedIn.
And I recall reading that Muhata describes itself as this constantly evolving platform.
That is correct.
Hmm.
They describe themselves as ever-evolving and growing and changing,
Okay.
suggesting that new features, exercises, content
Right.
are likely to be introduced over time.
Gotcha.
It gives this impression of a very dynamic platform that's designed to adapt and improve based on user feedback
Yeah.
and new insights.
Okay, so we've really taken a deep dive into this world of Muhata fitness.
We have.
To summarize the key takeaways,
Okay.
it seems like it centers around these short, frequent bursts of activity
Huh.
prompted by their web app,
Right.
a gamified experience incorporating tracking leaderboards,
Yep.
a virtual currency,
Uh-huh.
and a focus on these really accessible exercises
Yes.
that can be highly customized to individual preferences and goals.
Exactly. It's all about seamlessly integrating movement into your daily routine,
Right.
shifting the perception of fitness
Yeah.
from a separate, often time-consuming chore. Right.
To a more continuous and manageable habit.
So considering this emphasis on weaving movement throughout your day
Yeah.
and this highly personalized nature of the workouts,
Uh-huh.
how might incorporating a system like Muhata potentially reshape your own approach
Right.
to fitness and overall well-being?
It's a great question.
It really prompts you to consider
Yeah.
the possibilities of fitting these bite-sized activity breaks
Uh-huh.
into even the most demanding schedules.
That's right.
Maybe after this deep dive, you might even be intrigued to explore muhata.org a little further
Definitely.
and see how it could fit into your own life.
It's certainly worth checking out.
All right.
Sounds good.